Catch the wave. You're listening to Wave Radio, your home for uplifting gospel music.
What's going on, good people? This is Fearless Faith Friday, and I welcome you to the end of the week. You've been moving strong. You've been moving in your purpose, and I celebrate you today. But guess what we're going to talk about today? Faith doesn't flinch. Fear doesn't lead. And I want to welcome you here to the Afternoon Praise. This is not just another show today, people. This is a power move environment. This is where faith meets execution. This is where truth confronts comfort. This is where we stop talking about what we believe and start moving like we believe it. And today is Fearless Faith Friday. And I need you locked in for this one. Yes, I do. Because some of you have the vision, some of you have the calling, some of you even have the opportunity, but you're not moving. Not because you don't have it, what it takes, but because somewhere along the way, fear started leading your decisions. So today we're shutting that down. We're shutting fear down because faith doesn't flinch and fear doesn't lead. You're listening to the Afternoon Praise. I'm your host, Demetrius L. Brown.
Join us on this heavenly journey, one song at a time, Wave Radio.
You're listening to the Afternoon Praise, and this is Fearless Faith Friday. Faith requires movement. Faith is not passive. Faith is not sitting back hoping something works out. Faith is not waiting for signs that God already spoke. Faith moves on instructions, not emotions. Because if you wait until you feel ready, you will never move at the level you're called to. And let's take it deeper. Movement is proof of belief. Because you don't hesitate on what you're sure about. You don't delay what you truly believe is yours. So when there's no movement, it's not a lack of opportunity, it's a lack of conviction. And conviction produces actions. You're listening to the Afternoon Praise. I'm your host, Demetrius L. Brown.
You're riding the waves of faith and grace on Wave Radio.
You're tuned into Fearless Faith Friday here on Wave Radio, and it is the Afternoon Praise. I'm your host, Demetrius L. Brown. Let's talk about the conflict. Faith versus fear. Faith and fear are not just feelings. They are operating systems. They determine how you process information, how you make decisions, how you respond under pressure. Fear slows everything down. Faith accelerates alignment. Fear asks, what if I lose? Faith asks, what's my next move? And here's what's most important, people don't realize. You don't eliminate fear by waiting. You eliminate fear by moving through it. Because actions disrupt fear. Faith over fear, people. You're listening to the Afternoon Praise. I'm your host, Demetrius L. Brown.
Stay tuned and stay blessed here on Wave Radio.
You're listening to the Afternoon Praise. What's going on, good people? It is Friday, and I am excited. Yes, I am. I hope you are excited because you made it through and you're still pushing to the end. But let's talk about the disguise. Fear disguises itself. Yes, fear is strategic. It doesn't come obvious. It comes reasonable. It sounds reasonable. It feels logical. It presents itself as wisdom, but it's not wisdom. It's avoidance, because real wisdom leads to action. Fear leads to delay. And if you stay in delay long enough, you will start calling disobedience discernment. You're listening to the Afternoon Praise. I'm your host, Demetrius L. Brown.
Stay tuned and stay blessed here on Wave Radio.
You're listening to the Afternoon Praise. Don't you know there's a science to fear? There's a science to fear. Let's talk about the science of fear. Fear hijacks your internal system. It shifts your brains into survival mode. Now everything becomes, what could go wrong? What if I mess up? What will people think? And in that state, you are not building, you are protecting. But hear this clearly. You cannot build a future while trying to protect your comfort. You're listening to the Afternoon Praise. I'm your host, Demetrius L. Brown.
Stay tuned and stay blessed here on Wave Radio.
You're listening to the Afternoon Praise. Hey, let me ask you a question. Do you have the power? Do you have the power? You do have the power. God gave it to you. He gave his only begotten son. He gave his only begotten son. And God is the source. And Jesus is our connection to the source. So we have the power. Let's talk about the power of perspective now. Perspective determines performance. If you see everything as a threat, you will move cautiously. If you see everything as an opportunity, you will move strategically. Faith shifts your lens. It allows you to see possibilities and pressure, direction and difficulties, purpose and resistance. And when your perspective changes, your decisions follow. Change your perspective. Faith over fear. You're listening to the Afternoon Praise. I'm your host, Demetrius L. Brown.
Stay tuned and stay blessed here on Wave Radio.
You're listening to the Afternoon Praise. I know you hear me say this right here a lot. I say this statement a lot. You're not stuck. You're not stuck. You're not stuck. You're not stuck. And I'm going to say it again. You're not stuck. You're undecided. You haven't fully committed to the move. You haven't fully surrendered to the process. So you stay in the middle. Half in, half out. Moving, but not progressing. And that's one of the most dangerous places to be. Because it feels like effort, but it produces no outcome. Progress requires full commitment. God don't even like lukewarm. God said you're going to be hot or you're going to be cold, but not lukewarm. He'll spew you out of his mouth. You're listening to the Afternoon Praise. I'm your host, Demetrius L. Brown.
Bringing the sounds of heaven 24/7, Wave Radio.
You're listening to the Afternoon Praise. I'm your host, Demetrius L. Brown, and this is Fearless Faith Friday. Fear don't have no place here. Oh, that rhymed, didn't it? Faith over fear, people. Faith over fear. Let's talk about a tool that can help you eliminate fear. Preparation helps you eliminate fear. Preparation is the separator, because when you are prepared, you reduce uncertainty, you increase clarity, you build confidence through repetition. Your brain literally shifts from fear response to execution mode, which means you stop reacting emotionally and start responding intentionally. Preparation is not optional. It's the bridge between belief and results. Can I repeat that? Preparation is not optional. It is the bridge between belief and results. You're listening to the Afternoon Praise.
Catch the wave. You're listening to Wave Radio, your home for uplifting gospel music.
You're listening to the Afternoon Praise. How many of y'all rehearse what you do daily? How many, if you sell, are you rehearsing? If you are a strategic planner, are you rehearsing? Are you rehearsing what you do daily? Or do you just wake up and say, hey, I'm gonna jump in it. I'm gonna read something and I'm just gonna do it? No. Let's talk about the rehearsal effect. What you rehearse, you become comfortable with. And what you're comfortable with, you execute faster. So when you study, practice, visualize, you're removing the unknown, and fear feeds on the unknown. So the more familiar something becomes, the less power fears have over you. That's why disciplined people move different. They've already been there mentally. Rehearse, people. It's not just about the actors and people in the plays and stuff. You got to rehearse what you do daily. I just don't crack the mic open and get on there and start doing. No. I plan my show out. I research. I go over it. I put my notes together. I go over it. And then I come on air. So before I'm going over this on air talking about it, I done went over it about 3 or 4 times. And I've done the research. I've done the rehearsal. So again, you got to rehearse what you do. Hey, you're listening to the Afternoon Praise. I'm your host, Demetrius L. Brown.
Catch the wave. You're listening to Wave Radio, your home for uplifting gospel music.
You're listening to the Afternoon Praise. Let's talk about faith plus discipline. Faith without discipline creates frustration because now you believe something is coming, but you're not building the capacity to handle it. Discipline develops structure. Structure supports growth. Growth produces stability. So when the opportunity shows up, you don't fumble it, you maximize it. Get disciplined, people. Rehearse. Get disciplined. Understand what you're doing on all levels. Understand it from the client if you got a business. Understand it from the person on the receiving end of what you're offering. Discipline, people. Disciplined. Hey, you're listening to the Afternoon Praise. I'm your host, Demetrius L. Brown.
Catch the wave. You're listening to Wave Radio, your home for uplifting gospel music.
You're listening to the Afternoon Praise. I'm your host, Demetrius L. Brown. Let's talk about self-efficacy. This is internal authority. Self-efficacy is the confidence that says, I don't just have the ability, I can execute under pressure. And that only comes from preparation and experience, because pressure reveals what's already there, not creates it. So if you fall under pressure, it's not the movement, it's what you did or did not do before the movement. It's all about you, baby. It's all about you. You got to get yourself on point. Hey, you're listening to the Afternoon Praise. I'm your host, Demetrius L. Brown.
Catch the wave. You're listening to Wave Radio, your home for uplifting gospel music.
You're listening to the Afternoon Praise. Hey, we were talking about rehearsal. We were talking about self-efficacy. Now let's talk about the repetition. Repetition builds certainty. Repetition removes doubt because your brain starts to automate the process. You stop questioning. You stop hesitating. You just move. And that's where real confidence lives. Not in hype, not in motivation, but in familiarity. You've done it enough times that you trust yourself to do it again. Let me tell you this. You got to have faith in yourself. A lot of y'all have done what you do enough times that you trust yourself to do it again. But for some reason, you allow fear to stop you. But not today. That's it. After this moment right here, no longer fear stops you. But keep practicing. Keep up the repetitions. Keep going, y'all. Keep going. Hey, you're listening to the Afternoon Praise. I'm your host, Demetrius L. Brown.
Catch the wave. You're listening to Wave Radio, your home for uplifting gospel music.
You're listening to the Afternoon Praise. Do you know there's a cost to hesitation? Yes, hesitation is very expensive. Hesitation, it interrupts flow. And flow is where performances peak. The moment you overthink, you disconnect from execution. And now you're analyzing instead of acting. And while you're thinking, opportunities are passing. Decisions are being made without you. And results are being produced by people who moved faster. Stop hesitating. Go. Just go. And guess what? It's not going to be perfect. See, a lot of y'all want everything to be perfect. I want this to be this way. I want this to be that way. And it's never nothing because you never execute. You never act because you hesitated. And you use obedience. You use disobedience, calling it discernment. No, it's not discernment. It's called fear. So today, no more hesitation. No more overthinking. No more saying, I got to wait to hear from God. But if you pray to God and you ask God and you say you got faith and you believe, that means you move like it's already done. You start to build capacity. All right. Hey, you're listening to the Afternoon Praise. I'm your host, Demetrius L. Brown.
Catch the wave. You're listening to Wave Radio, your home for uplifting gospel music.
You're listening to the Afternoon Praise. Man, it is Fearless Faith Friday. Faith over fear, people. Faith over fear. Let faith lead you. Let's anchor this. God have not given us the spirit of fear. 2 Timothy 1:7. That means fear is not your source. So when fear shows up, It's not confirmation. It's a contradiction. You were given power. You were given clarity. You were given discipline. So operate in what you were given. You're listening to the Afternoon Praise. I'm your host, Demetrius L. Brown.
Catch the wave. You're listening to Wave Radio, your home for uplifting gospel music.
You're listening to the Afternoon Praise. You know one of my favorite songs? No weapon formed against me shall prosper. It won't work. Yeah, I love that song. I know I can't sing, but I love that song. And I want to tell you, no weapon that is formed against thee shall prosper. Isaiah 54:17. Let's get this clear. Opposition is part of the assignment. Resistance is part of the process, but outcome is already decided. Yes. So stop letting temporary pressure make permanent decisions for you. Remember, no weapon formed against you shall prosper. The verse didn't say that weapons won't form. It said no weapons formed. It already told you weapons are going to be formed against you, but they will not prosper. You just got to have faith and trust in God and move in the power of Christ. Man, move in the victory. Christ died so that we can be victorious. You gotta posture yourself in that victory. You gotta posture yourself in, I know the weapons are gonna come. I know they're gonna form, but they won't prosper against me. You gotta stand in the posture of God got me. Hey, you're listening to the Afternoon Praise. I'm your host, Demetrius L. Brown.
Catch the wave. You're listening to Wave Radio, your home for uplifting gospel music.
You're listening to the Afternoon Praise. Hey, I gotta hit you again. I gotta hit you with another scripture. We shall reap if we faint not. Galatians 6, verse 9. Consistency win, people. Not emotions. Not hype, not occasional effort, consistency. Because results are not built in moments. They are built in patterns. So if you keep showing up, the outcome has no choice but to follow. Hey, you're listening to the Afternoon Praise. I'm your host, Demetrius L. Brown.
Catch the wave. You're listening to Wave Radio, your home for uplifting gospel music.
Man, I hope everybody had a great week. I hope that you have finished this week strong and powerful. I know it might not look good, but you finished. It might not look like it was perfect, but you finished. You accomplished something. So it's all about accomplishing something. It's not about being perfect. It's about executing and making sure that you stay moving in your purpose. Because if you move in your purpose, your mistakes are easily corrected. God will correct those. So here's the move, y'all. Stop hesitating. Stop negotiating with fear. Stop delaying what you already know to do. Study with attentions. Practice with discipline. Execute with confidence. Move like preparation already confirmed it. Move like faith already secured it. Because if God promised it, it's already in motion. And I'm leaving you with this. Faith doesn't flinch. Fear doesn't lead. So move like you can't be stopped. Hey, you're listening to the Afternoon Praise. I thank you. Guess what? I will be back Monday. Have a great weekend. I'm out of here. Peace.
Stay tuned and stay blessed here on Wave Radio.